Right. Welcome everyone to our last night in the series of 8, where we talk about the business opportunity that you can have with doTERRA. So this is a business opportunity, and our next slide, and it's made that look very nice. doTERRA business is simple. And why is it simple? Because, yeah, that's right, Brianna. That was perfect.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. It's simple because we're using the oils all the time. So the more you use the oils as your first line of defense for anything, and for your day-to-day life, and for the day-to-day lives of the people around you, the more equipped you are to go further with doTERRA. And we thought we'll just put this little plug in here to always have a reference book available, like the Modern Essentials or the Essential Life, because we are, they're potent, they're powerful, and you want to know that you're using them correctly. So, share your experiences, giving people samples. It's that simple. Judith, you've been doing that. Take the opportunities that present themselves in day-to-day life. So sharing actually comes naturally. And it's a bit of like an example is yesterday, my husband Blair and I went into town, and I sort of joke saying he just sort of realized why he should not go to town with me, because I see people I know, and I'm not a small conversation person. I like to know about people's lives, and so then of course the conversations become bigger, but I think that's actually really important, because you actually get to know people's needs. So that's probably the first thing in if you want to do a doTERRA business, is actually caring about people and having conversations. Like sharing your experiences. Just this week, as an example of sharing your experiences, she turned 15 in the middle of this, so she just had her 15th birthday lying on the couch feeling very miserable because she got a really sore throat. And I looked and I thought, oh, is that strep throat? And you don't want to muck around. But I also think, well, it's not like we're doing nothing and just letting her be sick. So I was just, we just did all the oils, we did the flume up and down the spine, on the wrists, all around here. She was very sore and she was miserable. I made up a little throat spray of eucalyptus, honey, and lemon in water. I made a spray bottle to spray on the bottom of the back of her throat. On guard mouthwash gargling. Actually, and then last night, because each day I said, oh, I don't know, Bronte, I think I'm going to take you up to WAM, which is the doctor's, like up at the hospital, because you can't get into the doctor that fast, so we'd have to go up there. And she goes, no, I don't want to, because she's never been on antibiotics, so she did not want antibiotics. So I was still looking, and I saw that for a sore throat, you can get a glass of water with a drop of peppermint in. And so we did that, and she had a mouthful of that, and she took that mouthful and she just goes and nodding her head, because out of everything we've done, that just cooled it and soothed it and made it feel so much better. So I think it was improving anyway, but she just made this huge improvement overnight, and she thinks it was the peppermint water. But she was also doing DDR Prime. So yeah, I'm just telling you that because it's make it a habit to use doTERRA Natural Solutions as your first line of defense. I was putting her on a bit of limited time. Like, she had to be improving. She couldn't go backwards. And because you don't want to be silly. But we've just done that. We've learned, and I've got another experience to tell somebody. So it does come naturally. And part of why we're so long in town, because I was sharing with the people we bumped into, as it came up in conversation, not jumping on them when I first see them, although I have done that in the past too.
Yeah, and on that, sharing your experiences too, is that like telling your story is really important. I was down at squash one time, and somebody had hurt their ankle, and I said, oh, like, I've got some stuff, would you like to try it? And she said, oh, like, no, I'm okay, thanks, I've got deep heat in my bag. I'm like, oh, that's no worry. I said, I've got like I've got quite strong stuff, but if you're sorted, then that's cool. And then we were chatting later on, or it might have been in another tournament, and I was just saying like about my mountain bike accident and how, like, I guess my level of not able to walk very well. Nobody said, like, everybody said I wouldn't be able to play sport again, that type of thing, and how the wheels made a difference for that. And so we kind of were going into that, and then she was like, oh, okay. And then she was like, oh, do you mind if I try some? So she wasn't anti them, but she was kind of sorted up until I'd told my story. And that was just in a chatting rather than a forceful kind of way. And so, yeah, then she tried them and gave her a sample, and she signed up, I don't know, a week or two later. So it kind of, like just the power of your own story, which is quite cool, or other people's if they're happy for you to share. So,
because we learn a lot on the chats of what has worked for other people. And so if you haven't experienced it yourself, you've heard of how it's worked for somebody else, and you've got it in the book of what you could use for that. But yeah, the stories, which we've half done the next slide just by talking. So yes, it's saying when you experience something wonderful that has made a difference in your own life, you naturally want to share it with those you care about. And I think that's the key. We all know how amazing these oils are, and it's just the sharing with those you care about. And the being prepared to share, I think this was on another slide we've had, like the key ring with the little, I'd really recommend you get it on an order. I think it's $10, and it's just that little case, and it's got they're not roller bottles, but the little dram bottles, and you can set those up with little samples of the most popular, like wild orange, balance, peppermint, lavender, past tense. I often have a tea tree and oregano in there, or just a little flume. Brianna had a sample making day. That photo is of Brianna's samples ready for squash, no doubt.
Yeah, but I think they're all pain blends, and then I got a couple of immunity blends. But yeah, most of them are pain blends. Then I've got them, and I actually meant to put a different photo on, but I have them in like little tiny little like mesh bags. So then I've got a pain blend and an ice blue rub that I've got in there, and then my business card. Because then when I'm done at squash and it's busy, I can have that conversation. I can pick up one little bag and say, here, like, try this. And then, I can message them later. But then I don't have to.
Is it freezing for everyone, or is it just me?
Yeah, I lost her too.
We lost you, Brianna. I don't know if Brianna, we lost you. She is definitely frozen. She'll probably hop out and get that fix and jump back in, I should imagine. I saw a really are you back, Brianna?
Yeah, I think I should be back now.
Oh, you're back now. Yeah, we lost you. Sorry. You what part? The mesh bags, giving it out to people. Are you frozen again? Yeah. Okay. I saw a really neat thing the other day. Sorry? That froze again, Brianna.
That's strange. It should be better now.
Yeah, we could hear that. So I was just saying while you were frozen that I saw this thing on YouTube, something that I saw, making out samples. I usually have my bottles lined up, and then I'm doing them gingerly one by one, because they're often tiny little 2 ml or whatever they are. And then I just don't think it's simple. I saw them make it into like a little jug. So they made it in bulk, and then they just got a dropper and filled the dropper and filled the bottle, filled the dropper, filled the bottle. And I thought, oh, that is so much easier. So I'm thinking that some people around our area, we might just get together and do a sample making session. Definitely, that's something I thought we could do in the coffee shop. How you meet up with a group in the coffee shop. I just pictured us all here in the coffee shop making, a container and then just filling all our little sample bottles.
Good idea.
Yeah. So that's just like being prepared to share the practical tools. So Brianna, I feel rude because it froze when you were telling us something.
Is it an alright connection now?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Strange. I swapped Wi-Fi, so it should be fine now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what you guys caught, but I'm just like really prepared. Like as you can see, like they're my pain blends and the ice blue rub, and I've got those two in a little mesh bag with my business card, and then I just have them all in my squash bag, which comes down to the changing shed, and that's where probably 90% of the conversations come from. And then I'm just ready to go, so I can say I'll have a conversation with somebody, and I can go, here you go, and that's all that I have to do. So it's just being ready, ready to give out those samples, and I can give out. I think one weekend I sort of gave out maybe eight different little bags of samples, which I wouldn't have had time to make up if I hadn't have pre-made them. And I've got a couple of immunity ones in there. A couple of different samples, but it's mainly the pain. But yeah.
And you follow up with them, don't you?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wait 2 days, which is in a we learned that from Elise Sedeby. She did all the like research behind it and all that, and follow up 2 days later is
freezing. Okay. So our next
I'll give it to them on the Friday or Saturday.
You're just freezing again. So our next slide, we just had, I don't know if Brianna will be able to, I'm not in presenter mode, so I can't really do it. But we just had use your oils, share your oils, and teach others about the oils. And I think we did in another slide, just with each oil, just think about three cool things about that oil and just sort of have it. So we're up to use oils, share oils, and teach others, Brianna. And I actually put enroll and teach others as well, because that's where they're going to get the most benefit, is if they have their own account and then are learning about them and widening their knowledge base. And our next slide, we called this "What Made Us Decide to Start a doTERRA Business." Are you frozen, Brianna? Okay, I'll start. So I think I might have told you I was training to do my naturopath training, and I've always been interested in natural health, always buying this, just a whole lot of things, and had to stop the naturopath training because changed the course, and I would still, instead of having another 4 years, it would have been 8 years in total rather than 6, because I was doing it part-time. So then I actually grieved a bit about that. Then we had, so then life went on, I was missing it. Then we had the car accident, not Brianna, another daughter, and I had a car accident, and I had the head injury. Well, I had lots of, actually. It's a miracle I'm here, but that we're here. But it was just the fatigue and the headaches after I'd recovered to a certain extent that were just debilitating. And there was Margaret McDermott was doing a class in Martin. We lived in Turkina, and I thought, oh, can I go out in the evening, because I know what's going to happen to me. But anyway, I went out, and I just knew that these were the oils that I wanted, because the oils have always been interesting to me. I always wanted to know more. So then I got those, used them, had the great success that I talked about in another class. And then I just thought I'm going to learn something about oils every single day, whether it's about the oils and of course I had lots of people to practice on. But one thing I found just really struck me. It was this YouTube, and I can't remember the lady's name, so I can't give her credit. But it's on there somewhere about doing doTERRA as a business. And she just gave her story, which was she had a clothing store. Her overheads were $20,000 a month. Whether she made profit or anything, she had to pay the rent, the mortgage, the stock, the staff. They were non-negotiables, $20,000 a month. She started oils, and she realized that it can be done as a business. And her monthly cost is a 100-point order, which is what, maybe it can vary, but I often have mine about $160 to get 100 points, or 125. I can't actually remember, but you know what I mean. 100-point order, and that was her investment in her business. And then she looked at what was involved in the clothing shop, and she decided that she was going to invest into this and build that as a business. And I just that really struck me, thinking, wow, it can definitely happen. It's a monthly cost of that when you're swapping your shop, so you're getting your household things, and within that, it's not much to start a business. So I felt that that was, a good calculated investment to do. And so that's where I've come from. And so then you're just sharing, and you're teaching. And when I started, I didn't even teach. Margaret would come and take every class I wanted you to take, because I was just learning. So and that's another thing too, is that support is there. So that's my story on why the business. Plus, obviously, I could see that it was changing lives. My life, my family's life, and lots of other people around me, because I was actually sharing and giving them out, and they're like, wow, it's incredible. So a small cost, really, to be doing a business. So Brianna, yeah, you're not frozen. Or are you frozen? No, you're not.
I don't think I am. I think this should work. I've changed it all around, so hopefully. But if it's not, we can just skip. Yeah, I think that for me, it had made such a difference in my life. Like, I'd had my mountain bike accident, and so like my pain was a lot more bearable, and I was slowly able to get back into working, and my immunity was so much better. I used to be sick several times a year, and then in hospital probably at least once a year somewhere in the winter months. And so that it had made such a difference to me. And then I was kind of like, well, I can just be sharing it with others. And so that the easiest way to do that is through the business, but the business is just sharing it. So it kind of accidentally became the business a little bit. And Mum and I had talked a lot, and I remember when Mum watched that video, we were talking about that. So we were often talking about the business aspect of it, and just a neat spot really to be able to say to somebody, oh look, like, you've got this going on for you, I have this solution that works, and to be able to say to them, oh, and if it doesn't work, come back to me, because there will be something else that does, and we can, just stick with us up until we can figure out what it is that your body's needing. So that's kind of a lot of why I did it, was the life-changing side of it.
And then also when you'd finished your full-time study,
that's right.
Yeah, you had a lot more time to put in, and you decided that that was going to be a reasonable part of your income.
That's right. Yeah, because when we first started using the oils, I think I was in my first year of study. And when you're at uni, like, you're just swamped with assignments, and you just got one after the other. And then in your summer break, you don't have the brain space to be thinking of extra. And so when that all finished, I was kind of like, okay, like, this is what I want to do. So.
So on that, we thought, okay, so that's good to know, what's behind, wanting to do the business. And obviously with naturopath training, I wanted to be helping people with their natural health. And so I say to, somebody asked me about it yesterday when we went shopping and caught up with a lot of people. I said, well, I actually don't feel like I need to go back and do that because my goal was to be helping people with their health. And I feel that I'm doing that now. So I don't know. But anyway, so then our next slide is, what is the first goal? If you've decided that actually I do want to do this as a business, what is the first goal? So we broke it down and we thought the first goal really is you want to get your oils paid for, because that to me was my first step. So and it is pretty exciting to think, and I think for me it wasn't, the first thing wasn't, oh, my whole order's paid for. It's like, oh wow, I actually only needed to pay $50 or $60 for my monthly order. That was exciting. So then how would you do that? How would you get that? And really, it is everything we've talked about, giving the samples, and then with the starter kits, I always gear, I want people to have the best that's going to serve them. And if they just get one oil for something, that they're really limited, and then it's not really going to do what I'd hoped it would do. So I really try to find a kit that would actually benefit them the most. And I do love the top 10 kit because it does 80% of everything. So even if their need is like that, it might be pain, then everybody gets a cold sometimes, so then it actually can cover all that. So I'm always thinking about that. And so even with the samples, like for pain, I mean, I have my favorite pain recipe, but it's not from the top 10. So if I'm giving somebody a pain thing that, unless it's like this huge, like the arthritis, like that I feel is just going to need that, then I will give them that. But most things, you can do the pain from the top 10. So yeah, and then you can also invite them to a class. And if you're not ready to take a class, or they might be happy to host a class, and say if you have a group of people, but you're not confident enough to host a class, honestly, you would just get hold of us. And I've done it with people out of town, and I've had their group at home, and they've just set up the computer, and I've just done it like this, and we've been interactive, because it's sort of like what we're doing now. You guys are on the screen, but if you were in one room in somebody's house, we could actually still do this. And then you'd have the oil. So I could be talking about an oil, you can pass it around, so that works. So when it's, and we sort of, we like to do the classes. The classes are just, I find them quite inspiring. I always feel quite inspired after doing a class. So yeah, but thinking classes, you don't have to take the class when you first start out. I didn't take the class for ages. And then I just felt really bad with Margaret coming up from Wellington. Wasn't that amazing? When that's 2.5 hours away. And I said, no, I just feel really bad. Oh, and Heather too did that. It was so lovely of them. So yeah, so that's the first thing. And then if people get a starter kit, doTERRA will pay you the 20%.
20%, yeah.
Yeah. And that just goes into your back office. So it's like, because at the moment, yeah, and Natasha and Christine, I think you'll probably be wholesale customers. So you just push a button in your back office, or I can even do it for you, but it's upgrade now, and then you can enroll somebody. And then you'll see a whole new screen behind what you can see already, and it's called your back office. But it just sounds complicated. You don't have to worry about it. Really, it's just the first step, so everything comes. So then we had a page, I was reading something, actually I was listening to somebody on YouTube, and because I still, I said I like to learn something. When I started, I wanted to learn something every day. I still want to learn something every day. I'm still listening to, it might be somebody on network marketing, just quick little snippets of stuff, because there's just so much to learn. So yeah, I still like to learn something every day. Then he was talking about how objections, people have objections. I can't do this. I don't know a lot of people. I live in a small town. And I'm sure you could think of a lot of other objections. I was having a mind blank. They're the only 2 objections I came up with. But you think about your objection. What would your block be to actually doing this? Because everybody will have their own thing. But I don't know a lot of people. This Dale Carnegie, is that he says their name? You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. And I thought that's really cool, because you actually, if you just show interest in people. So how can you do that? You can be friendly, you can smile, ask others questions, listen more than talk, and join something, a community group, and create a community around you. So many other things. But yes, there's, objections, I think, just sort of, I don't know, we could talk about at the end. We could go over some objections and just chat about them afterwards. So the next one, we just thought doTERRA is a triangle of individuals running their own business in a community of like-minded people who are making a difference in other people's lives. Brianna found that. I thought that was really good. Because you really are. Everybody's running their own business, but with the arrows there, you're talking to others, you're giving to others, you're receiving from others ideas, sort of what we're doing now, and you're making a difference in other people's lives with the oils or with your support or whatever. So you're the boss, the CEO from day one, and you create your business with support from doTERRA, your upline, your downline, and people not even in your team, because doTERRA's got a wonderful community spirit. And what was I going to say about that? Can't think. Don't know. I had something profound, but it skipped my mind. Brenna, do you have anything?
I don't think so. The image is on the right, the top right. That's just what your tree looks like. So you've got the individual and then their team that they've signed up, and then retrospectively as it goes down. So
and that will come. You'll see that the first line. Look at that first up top there. One at the top, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you've got 3 people with O's on that top line, second line. So we're going to go to the next slide. Yep, there, and there. Next slide, because that's talking about the power of 3. So this is one of the ways to earn with doTERRA, because there are 3 ways. There's fast start, power of 3, and a uni level. And you don't need to know all this really, but the power of 3 is just nice to, it's a nice way of quickly getting something, earning to go towards your order and to build your business. So there's you at the top. The person who signed you up will be above you, obviously, and who knows what else up there, because it doesn't actually, that's your upline. You'll get support from them. And then there's you, and you're doing your 100 PV a month order, because that's the only requirement to do doTERRA as a business. And if you've swapped your shop to everything doTERRA, it's very, very, very achievable, because it's part of your household budget as well.
And that means that your grocery bill is a lot down, because you're just buying food. You're not buying all your cleaning products and your shampoos and conditioners and soaps and all that, because that's
washing powders and
yeah.
So you're skipping aisles at the grocery shop, which makes you feel really good. So there's you doing your 100 PV order, and as you've shared the oils with someone and they've bought they've signed up and then you're sharing this sort of information with them. So you're sharing this with them, and they've signed up, and they might catch that vision, or it might happen just automatically for them that they're a natural sharer of oils, and they have people that, you know, so they're, because I have people that I'm doing 100 PV, and people, they're not necessarily doing it as business, but they're doing 100 PV orders. So if you have 3 people doing 100 PV order, and overall between you and those 3 people, if that's $600 volume, then doTERRA pays you $50 US, which is $70 to $80, maybe around the 80 at the moment. Can't remember. There's $80 just like that towards your next.
And with your 600 combined PV, it can be from your customer. If I just go back, your customers as well, like if you see here, these 3 here are the ones doing the 100 PV because I've got the circle, but then these 2 here are just your customers. So they might do a order of 20 PV, and that's going to bump it up for your 600 team volume because it has to just be all in that.
Yeah. So that's the power of 3. The fast start, I don't know that we did a slide for that, but
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did, but we just before I talk about any of that, if I do even talk about that, we'll just show a little video. Now that we've explained that a little bit, we've just got a little video, because that will just that helps me anyway. So I thought, well, if that helps me, it might help you guys as well, the different styles of learning. So Brianna will play that.
The purpose of this video is to help you understand the doTERRA compensation plan. There are 5 basic ways you can earn commissions with doTERRA: through retail profit, which is earning the 25% difference between retail and wholesale pricing from your retail sales, or through a series of bonuses: Fast Start, Power of 3, Unilevel, and bonus pools. Before we begin, there's a common acronym you will hear throughout this video: PV. PV stands.
Oh, were we stopping it there?
No, I somehow
for
paused it.
personal
Sorry.
volume. Every product is given a product or point value that is used in commission qualifications. Now let's take a look at each bonus. Number 1, Fast Start. Fast Start commissions are a great way to begin earning income from the very first day. Fast Start allows all wellness advocates to earn a bonus on new customer purchases. For each customer you enroll, doTERRA will pay you 20% of the PV on anything they purchase within their first 60 days. This includes their initial order. Fast Start bonus payments are made to 3 levels of enrollers. While the direct enroller of the new member earns 20% back, the next enroller up earns 10% back, and the next enroller up from there earns 5%.
Did I go and proceed to Brianna?
Number 2, Power of 3. It works like this. If you place a 100 PV order on the Loyalty Rewards program, and 3 of your frontline achieve a minimum of 100 PV on the Loyalty Rewards program, all within a given month, and your total team volume exceeds 600 PV, doTERRA will pay you a bonus of $50. If you then help those 3 people on your first line earn the $50 bonus, then you will receive a $250 bonus. Now, if you help their teams also achieve the same $50, giving your first line each the $250 bonus, your bonus will increase to $1,500. Note that your team volume is the total combined PV of you and your entire frontline. Here's another graphic to explain. You earn $50 for your first level, $250 for your second level, and $1,500 for your third level. Number 3, Unilevel. doTERRA's main bonus is called the Unilevel Organizational Bonus. It is the most generous and unique plan available. After 60 days, all accounts are placed in a Unilevel system, and you earn an increasing rate of commission on each level down through 7 levels based on order volume. You will earn 2% on the first level and continue to earn more throughout up until the 7th level, where you earn 7%. Most other compensation plans start you out on a higher percentage rate at the beginning, And as levels deepen, you earn a lower percentage, meaning, overall, less income for you. Unlike many other compensation plans, with doTERRA, you actually make the most on the most and the least on the least. Number 4, bonus pools. Bonus
Yeah.
So that's a really good little video of just what you can earn, because that makes such a difference. Like, you think, well, if you've got $250 a month, that's a significant difference to your budget, to your household income. So then, as with anything, sorry, I have a great problem getting into the slide we're on my phone. How much money do you want to make? Like, because we're talking about a business, I actually hate talking about money, by the way. And it's like one of my little triggers. But if you're kind of talking about doing it as a business, well, money is a part of that, isn't it? So we've talked about the natural sharing of oils and caring for people. But if we're doing it as a business, it naturally involves money, and it would be nice to see some return. So estimated time needed to pay for your product, an average is 3 to 10 hours per week. And your income goals would be, $139 to $878 a month. And I would presume that's US dollars. And then there's different, like when you start, you're a customer, and then it goes through different little things, and you're an executive and an elite. Elite is I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much, but it's just talking about the time needed for a business. And right, I think, have you got anything to say on that, Brianna?
I don't think so. It's
Right.
definitely one of those businesses, though, that the more time you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. So, like, as it says, 3 to 10 hours. If you're doing 3 hours, you might see a certain amount, and that's why there's a range there too, is 139 through to 878, which is quite a big difference. But so is 3 to 10 hours a week. So
yeah. So our next one is actually, that all sounds good too, what we've all talked about. So how do we do this? So one thing I didn't write down actually is doTERRA. There is so much help and support within doTERRA. There's you would have got them in your thing, your live guide, you've got a share guide, and you'll have a build guide. It came with your starter kits. They have got fantastic information. So I think it's the prepare, is this one? Yes, this is the pipes. It's in the build guide. And pipes is preparing, like you're preparing yourself for success. Success doesn't come like this. You get rewarded for the effort you put in. So prepare yourself for success by experiencing the benefits of doTERRA's products, proven training system. There are steps you can do for everything. So on this, like it says, actually you can't see it there, but on here it's got one, use doTERRA products, share doTERRA, and teach others. So preparing, then you're inviting others to learn about the natural solutions, and it could be a class, it could be meeting a friend for coffee. I've done that at a coffee shop, talked about the oils, had the top 10 there, had the enrollment form, and I'd prepared. Then you're presenting it. It was over coffee, online class, inviting one of us to take the class for you if you have a group of people, if you're not confident. I wasn't confident, just saying, when I first started. You know how I said Margaret came up? I never thought I'd be teaching classes. But once you've been using the oils and you're familiar with them and you've got your stories, it does become natural. Then your pipes, you've got prepare, invite, present, then you've got enroll. And that, when you're enrolling, you don't think of it just as an enrollment. Nothing's just an enrollment. It's super exciting because you're just empowering others with natural based well-being solutions, and you're inviting them to change lives as well. So doTERRA's thing is changing the world, one drop at a time, getting oils into everybody's families, one drop, or something like that. Can't think of it right. It was on the top of my head, but you know what I'm saying. It's just empowering others and inviting them to change lives. And then the other thing is supporting your customers, sort of working out who just wants to be a customer, because some people just want to be customers, and that is absolutely fine. Some people just want to share the oils, and that is absolutely fine. And some people want to build a business, and that is absolutely fine. So you're wanting to support your customers, your sharers, and your builders to success. And I just heard something the other day of some people spend all their time preparing and then all their time supporting their current customers, that they actually forget. So they've done the P at the beginning and the S at the end, and they forget the IPE. They're inviting, they're presenting, and they're enrolling. Because without those three things, inviting, presenting, enrolling, there's actually nobody to support. So those three things, that was actually quite challenging. When I heard that, I thought, oh yes, that is so true. So you'll find, and I have found, and Brianna has found, that you have the most success when you're doing the inviting, presenting, and enrolling, because I think we do quite naturally the prepare and the support. But sometimes you can actually be busy there and not do the other end. It was just so good for me to hear that. Oh yeah, that is so true. Next one. Yeah, this is good. Like, what's your motivation? How are you motivated? Like, what is your motivation with the oils? Is it to do just, for you and your household? Or do you have a financial motivation? Do you want to share them with others? And then how are you motivated? What motivates you? Like, for me, I've found it really motivating, Brianna and I doing this series together, because she's very much a motivator. Hey, Brianna. Like, Mum, we should get together and put these slides together early in the week, whereas I'm more like end of the week blitz. It's been really good. And just and sorry, you go.
Oh, sorry. And it's also been good too, because Mum and I were sitting there here on Thursday planning this one, and I think we both had a couple of moments that I was like, oh, actually I better text this person, because different conversations that we were having kind of triggers that memory of, oh, I need to do this, or I haven't actually checked up on this person for a little bit, so I'll do that now. And so we kind of do that. It might make the presentation take a little bit longer, but it's still getting lots of done within the business, which is cool too.
And it was really cool, because you can work quite hard on something. You actually just need a little brain break. So just those conversations that we were having triggered our memories for something we hadn't done within the business. So we could both just take a moment, message someone, do something, get up, grab a drink of water, and then come back and be, fresh for what we were doing. And so that's the thing. How are you motivated? We work well together, and important to find out how you work best. Sometimes we were actually better to work out a bit of it on our own and then come together, or and find out what you need in order to be successful. What do you need to be successful? Do you need somebody to come and take a class? That is definitely doable. We can do that. Or your upline can do it.
And I think too on that is that you can be like, oh, do I need somebody to, like, we have the kids for an hour or two to give you that like clear set time, or do I work best in the mornings or in the evenings, or like it can be super practical as well, because you want to be If you have a solid hour that you can really, really work at it, that's helpful too. And if that hour means that it's 8 o'clock at night when your brain's best functioning, or 7 o'clock in the morning, it's just figuring all of that out.
Yeah. And yeah, everybody is very individual, so be sure to personalize it, find out what works. But and this last bit, don't overcomplicate it. One small thing each day is growth. That is so good. You know, even if you're on the fence about, do I want to do this as a business, just learn one thing. Read through the share guide and the build guide, and doTERRA's got lots. You never have to think up how to do something. You really don't. Like, even for the wellness consults, there's actually a new PDF that Dawn Cohen, is that how you say her surname? She sent it to me because it's just great. A wellness consult, there's a lot of things to answer, you know, that you can ask people to answer, and it helps streamline. But the resources are huge. So yeah, you don't have to think up your own system. You use the systems doTERRA has. Okay, the next thing. The sales guide. There is an actual book, the sales guide. You can look online and see the PDF, and it's really good to read. Learn to Sell the doTERRA way, which is actually caring for people. It's not trying to get a sale. It's not just getting a sale. It's actually caring for people and meeting them where they're at.
And that was probably one of my bigger hang-ups, especially at the start, was I was like, well, I kind of didn't want to be that person. And I didn't want to be that person who any conversation I'd have, it would be like, oh, you know, how about this? And just being real like sales-like. I didn't want to be that. And then I kind of got to the point that I was like, well, actually, like if I'm with somebody who's sick or is not sleeping very well or is in a lot of pain, I have this whole solution. And it's kind of a little bit not selfish, but in a way it's a little bit selfish for me just to sit back and be like, well, I don't want to come across like that person, so I'm not going to do anything. Whereas otherwise I can be like, look, I have this if you want it, and just holding it really lightly. Like that's something that Melody Watt says, you know, don't be hung up on the outcome. Just be really relaxed, and well, if they want this and if they want this help and the solution, then that's cool. But if they don't, then I've offered it. Like I've done what I've needed to do to see if they'd like it.
Yes. And Brianna, that's one of the lines that Brianna told me. I think you were about 8 when you started using this line on me. Like if I was too scared to say something, and it usually was, oh, we can't ask people to do that. That will cost them, you know. And she'd always just say, whatever. It was always very fitting. Mum, you can't make decisions for other people. And she just has said it to me like her whole life. Mum, you can't make decisions for other people. And sometimes we make that decision for other people when we decide not to share something because we have the hang up, thinking we don't want to be pushy. We don't want to, well, we've made a decision for that person without giving them the opportunity themselves. So really good. And I heard something the other day, and unless you've heard no from someone 7 times, then it's not actually a no. That's a science. It's a science. Not meaning that you keep badgering them. You don't. But, you know, if somebody, and no's are fine. Like, go and find a whole lot of people who are going to say no to you, because in the process of finding all those people that say no, you are going to find people that will say, yes, I do want this. I do want these oils in my life. I want these oils for my family. I want the Medicare system. You know, I want low tox living. I need a solution for my health. So yeah, the sales essential, master the fundamentals of success. I'm not too sure what that is. And the doTERRA sales cycle. That must maybe all be in the sales thing. Yeah. So this these 9 steps, you're connecting authentically. It's just what we've talked about, is actually making, you know, getting on conversations with people. You invite them to a class. a really good thing, and where we have our most success with classes, which we haven't the last few weeks, or Brenna's been in Australia, and I don't know, sick, that's right. But it's time now for us to step up again. But always have something booked on your calendar so that if somebody is interested, you can say, look, I'm having a class on this date. Would you like to come? And quickly book a class if you haven't, thinking, oh, well, actually, I can do it then. So this is going to make me just do it. Introduce the need for solutions, because people have that need. So it's just sort of really taking that moment. Educate about the products, closing with confidence, enroll in a total wellness lifestyle, answer objections, gather referrals and book classes. Everybody has friends. And follow people up to build that recurring income, because we're looking at building a residual income. It's not a what's that other word I used? It's not passive income. It's not passive because we are working. It's the residual income. So, and in today's economic environment, it's good to be looking for other ways to earn money. And with the health issues in our health system at the moment, it's a fantastic thing to have solutions to offer people. So I don't want to make this class take ages. We're on to slide 23. So success begins with you. You've had your wellness consult when you've signed up. If you haven't, go to the person above you and see if they can. But otherwise, you've got the Live Guide. And it's not a bad thing to get that Live Guide out every now and then and just go through it. I don't have it. I've only got the build. But anyway, you'll have the Live Guide and just go through it every 3 months and just see where you are on that. What do I need to pick up here? What would be beneficial for me to add? So if you want to do it as a business, you're thinking you set up your loyalty rewards. You have to be on a loyalty rewards really to do it as a business, and purchase and sell at least 100 PV per month to receive commissions. But you'll receive commissions when you have enrolled someone. Implement the daily wellness plan you created in the Live Guide. Learn more by regularly using an oil reference guide and participating in continuing education. And well done to you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on these classes. You have just encouraged us immensely, because we thought we might just be recording this with just us on, but that will be okay because it's still good for us and we want these recordings. But yeah, thank you for encouraging us by showing up more than once and not writing us off. So the next one is sharing. So you've got that guide. Does a share come with it? I don't know. Even if it doesn't, you can share your passion for using the doTERRA products, living the doTERRA wellness lifestyle, which is really, and inspiring those around you to be open to learning how to do the same. Utilize the share guide to help you share and invite successfully. Start connecting with your people and start building your pipeline. There is a whole channel called Empowered Success that's on YouTube. It's actually also, you can listen to it on Spotify, but they actually have the videos. Empowered Success on YouTube. I've got lots of tools and videos on there. So your pipeline is, the pipes, but it's like it's just building that community and getting a strong system together. Okay. And then you've got Build Your Dreams, connect to your upline team support. And doTERRA is a powerful vehicle to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Yeah, I just sort of think probably if I look back to when I started doTERRA and I was starting just to use them, and I accidentally started doing it as a business because people were wanting what we had and what we were using. And because we've just got so many stories that you can actually share with people, not a day goes by when I'm not talking to somebody, about it. And that's important. So, doTERRA is a powerful vehicle. Then we've got just a little bit here on what you can earn. So, and we're not going to go through them all because it just shows you the potential. But, for the beginning, you're just thinking first rank, the first goal is to get your oils paid for. And then soon after that, you'll hit elite. And you get a really cool little, I think I've got it here, which is a really strange plate. It is too. Then you get a little badge sent to you. Where's the camera? doTERRA Elite. A little bit of fluff on that. And a certificate. And you get that even before that. I think when you hit director, you will get a certificate. I don't think you get a little badge. But then for each of the things, you probably get something. So, and you can do it as quickly and as slowly as you want. Some people just get in and think, okay, I'm going to get elite and I'm going to do that real fast. And other people are just happy to plod along. And but what did I hear the other day? You can earn it fast or you can earn it slow. But if you can earn it fast, why not? I thought, well, that's true. I didn't do that. But yeah, I think probably if I was going back in time now, I think I'd just split. Now, this is just a little video, real short, really short, talking about time.
That would all depend upon what their goals are, right? I mean, many people just want a supplemental income. They just want an extra $50 a month. That would require a different amount of time than someone who's really looking to replace their income. So the key is to look at what do you want to achieve with this business, and therefore how much time do you want to spend. It's kind of a challenge for people who think, well, I only want to spend a few hours a week, but I want to replace my income. That's going to be hard to do in any plan, and that's not what doTERRA is about. But if people really want to replace their income, it's possible. It takes time, and it takes a full-time commitment. And we have a lot of people who have great success doing that.
So we just felt that was good to put in because it's if you're not going to get to replace your income by putting a small amount of time in. So really it's the time to money ratio. If you put a lot of time in, then you will, your income can get up there. So our next slide, we did it a little bit before. So this is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. And my little thing I say to myself these days is there an income? If I'm doing my little, like the doTERRA slot of my day, and I'll think, am I engaged in an income producing activity? Or am I is that just a bit of fluff around the outside? Am I getting caught up in what, this, but I could actually be, asking somebody if they'd like to host a class, because sometimes that's actually scary. But pushing yourself to do the scary. So, and pushing yourself out of the comfort zone. Now, one thing we did, and this is free, but Elise Setterfee has a whole mentor thing where it's each day she asks you to do something. That is so worthwhile doing. So
I think especially that first 15 days, I think it was, or first 13 days, the whole thing is fantastic and really worthwhile. But if you can't commit to that, then that first 15 days is really, really good.
Yes.
Especially for starting up your business. Because it's simple and really practical things. Like she said, go and write your names of 100. So you just think of as many names as you can. And so it's things like that that's just super practical.
Brianna, we didn't hear that last bit, Brianna.
Oh, it cut out, did it? Is it right
Yeah,
now?
like you said, the first 15 days, it's super practical. If you can't do the rest, that first
Yeah.
15 days is really practical. But then I saw you doing this. So did you say something else?
I think I did, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh,
Yeah. I didn't realize it cut out. That's a shame. That's right. But yeah, it's just a really practical, those first 13 or 15 days. It gives you, each day, there's one practical thing to go and complete. And then you go and listen to the next day. And you can listen to it. You could listen to it every second day if that's what you can fit in. Or
Mhm.
you could listen to 3 in one day as long as you're completing your tasks.
Yeah.
Mm.
And sometimes it's just nice to have something like that to follow and just to, give you confidence. And it just sort of builds it builds confidence and security in what you're doing. And with the 100 names, like she said, don't think about those names. If they come to your mind, put them down. Just put them down. Because sometimes we can just think too hard about things and it puts us off.
Mm.
I don't know if Brianna's talking to me or maybe she's muted herself. I don't know. So our last slide. Were you talking to us, Brianna, because your sound wasn't on?
Oh, I think my sound's on.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I
think
didn't say
yours
anything.
is
I was speaking,
delayed
but didn't-
because
Yeah.
it's really weird because you're talking, but you weren't talking on the video. So I think you're delayed. So I don't know that we did miss anything.
Mm.
Now, this is just in one of the doTERRA books. When you share doTERRA products, and I think we've done it before too, actually, when you share doTERRA products, you bring hope and wellness to the people you love, your community, and ultimately the world. Selling the doTERRA way is about service. And service is key. One drop at a time and one person at a time. We are serving the world with wellness solutions.
Mm.
So who is in your world? What are their needs? And our worlds can be siblings or cousins or far away or friends in your community or
Somebody you bump into on the street. And one thing I just thought actually is not to get overwhelmed with like say you do your 100 names, don't get overwhelmed with the fact of, oh wow, that's 100 people that I have to go and message now. You don't have to message them then. You can just start at the top. You could decide. I think what I did was I'll message 2 people a day. And so I would message 2 new people a day, but then it got a little bit, because then you're having to reply and you've still got conversations happening. So then I kind of limited it back a little bit, but you don't have to message all 100 within the first week. You could still 6 months later, 6 months down the track, you might be like, I did my 100th person, because that list will grow as well.
Yeah. And you might decide not to do it that way. You might just decide to think, actually, if an opportunity comes up, I'm going to take it. If somebody mentions a health thing to me, I am going to offer a solution, because I just saw the words, I've written a note down here, and it's be a solutions provider, which is what we've talked about. So whoever you come across, you can be a solutions provider. And I know that when it came time, once I had the oils and was talking about the oils actually, because I used this, look, we had this situation and this is what we did. Then when I watched that YouTube video about the cost of the business, I made a decision. That was a decision. It just reminds me of when we were homeschooling, which we actually still are. But we just did a term by term. Oh, we'll homeschool for this term, or we'll homeschool for this year. And then, we'll see how it goes. But there was always an out for me, like, oh, wow, this is just so hard. I'm going to put the kids in school. We're putting the kids in school. I don't think I can do it. And then I was just like this all the time. And then I thought, actually, we need to make a decision. What are we doing? If we are homeschooling, let's homeschool. If we're putting them in school, we're putting them in school. So there's not this all up and down. And we thought, right, we're homeschooling. We're going the whole way homeschooling. And that made such a difference to everything about how homeschooling, because I didn't have an out. Well, I did, because we still could have done, so I did. But in my mind, that's a decision. So I then took it more seriously. And I think the purpose of that story is I made that decision to do it as a business. So therefore, I take it seriously. And and basically you're helping people and supporting them and giving them a new lease on life. Sometimes it's pretty exciting. But you do need to be living it in your day-to-day life so that you have credibility. So and don't do it alone, do it in community. So if you want to build a business, you have people around you, like we're obviously here, and in your own teams, Judith and Daphne, and although you can jump on whatever we're doing, we're really happy with that. But you can, I don't know who your uplines are, who your, anything like that. But you might have your group of people doing it as a business, or people in your team doing it as a business, and you can cross teams. This is the last one in the series, obviously, but Brianna said we'll have a week off and then we'll do something else. So we'll keep you posted on that. We won't do a weekly thing, but we might do a monthly thing, unless Brianna motivates me. But we'll probably do classes like our pipes, the prepare, invite, present, enroll, support. So so probably this next month or two we're going to be really working on inviting, presenting, enrolling. Especially, this is a great time to start as a business if you haven't, because I don't know if you've seen the Grow program. If you enroll one person this month, then you are eligible to join the Grow program for November. And they have, and if you can't make the online meeting, you can watch the recording. They have amazing training, just fantastic trainings, and cash prizes. If you graduate the course, you get money. Anyway, I've put it on my page. It's called Grow Blitz. There's a post on my page about Grow Blitz. I would encourage everybody to try and get on that program. It's so worthwhile. So if you can enroll one person this month, you're in. You just have to fill out the form. So think about who you've sampled. Think about a person has a big need, and ask them if they'd be willing to try something that you've been using, and give them a sample. And then if you're stuck after that and don't know what to do, message your upline, or ask for their help, or and then just enroll them, because that simple starter kit, it's the ice blue rub, the lemon essential oil, the On Guard, and the lavender piece. That is an amazing starter kit. It's really achievable. That's just a good one if that's their price point. So thanks for hopping on. We're going to stop recording, but we'll chat afterwards if you'd like. Is that recording?